From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports bet show, the Primetime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling the same. It is Tuesday today. It was a fun Monday yesterday. If you had the Giants last night with the plus 10.5, I know I gave it out for the show, but I know that I did play the 6.5 first half, but you guys already know I told you guys yesterday. So the Giants did go ahead and cover yesterday in that game. That was pretty big for Giants backers and everything like that. And the saga continues with the Chiefs not being able to cover and not being able to look as impressive as they looked over the last few years. But a win's a win, right? That's exactly what you wake up as a fan, is that you've won the game. Now, they had a total yards of 368 last night. Also, 261 passing yards, 107 yards on the ground as well, too. They were able to feature a new running back last night, somewhat, being Derek Gore, who did pretty well last night, but pretty much got the most carries of his career, and they had seen some things with the guy. He hadn't did much this year at all, but he stepped up in that game, got 48 yards out of it, and pretty much that was very helpful for this team, and he got a touchdown out of it. Tyreek Hill had 12 receptions, but did not get 100 yards last night either. So that's kudos to the New York Giants defense last night as well, too. And, the Giants were first downs 29-18. The Giants lost that battle. Third down efficiency, 4 out of 12. The Chiefs went 5 out of 12. Fourth down, though, the Giants were able to go 50% in that category. And pretty much total plays last night, Chiefs ran 77 to the Giants 56. That's the telltale all of the game right there. And the 3 sacks were pretty helpful as well, too. So the Chiefs go ahead and get themselves a nice win last night, but they are still in third place in their division, or they're tied for second place with the Broncos. So they still got some time, and, pretty much, they're tied for third place. And then you have the Chargers, who are second, and the Raiders are first. Now, I would get into the situation that occurred in Vegas, but I'm going to wait for all those stories to come out from the mainstream media. It is a sad situation right now. Somebody did lose their life in Las Vegas. It was over on Rainbow and Tropicana as well, too. And I'm very familiar with that area as well. So I know exactly kind of where this situation occurred at and all that stuff. And that is kind of a dangerous strip of action about that time of night and everything like that. So it's a really, really sad to see this situation go the way it did. Hopefully Henry Ruggs' career won't be in jeopardy because of it. But right now you can't say anything until the powers that be, rear their ugly head and everything like that. So it is what it is. And let's go ahead and jump into the World Series. And World Series is at Game 6 tonight, live from Houston at Minute Maid Park. And this Houston crowd is going to try to will their team to the winner-take-all Game 7. But the Braves do have the trump card in their back pocket right now. They are the leader of the series. They want to play the greatest 27 outs ever in their careers today to get this victory, because they have to win this game right here. Because if they lose tonight, I think that Game 7 becomes a very, very tough task for the Braves to win. I think that will give the Astros more than enough confidence, and they've already been in a Game 7 situation before in the World Series, beating the Dodgers over at Chavez Ravine, 2-1 or 2-0, whatever it was. They won the game, and it was in dramatic fashion as well too. So they are prepared for the big moment of Game 7 if Game 7 does happen. If you're Atlanta, you want to end this thing. You definitely want to go into this thing and focus in on just today. You can't worry about tomorrow. You can't tell yourself that, hey, if we lose, we got tomorrow. No, you have to tell yourself that if we lose today, then this series is over and we going home empty-handed. So I think if the Braves have that mentality, they can go ahead and try and win this game tonight. But I truly do think that the Astros are going to be too much in this spot. I think Max Fried is going to kind of wilt to the pressure a little bit. I know Garcia hasn't pitched better, but I think Garcia knows what time it is. This is a huge game for the city, for the culture of Houston. And I think that when it comes down to it, that pretty much the Astros will win out a very close game tonight. And that's the way I see it, but that doesn't guarantee it. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. I do expect really good pitching from both sides tonight as well too. So there it is. So pretty much the World Series game 6 tonight at 5:00 live from Houston, Texas. So you guys tune in and see what it can do for you. All right, it's Mac Tuesday night, and you know when it's Mac Tuesday night, it's time to talk some Mac football, and I love when we have the Mac early in the week. So here we go with our first game, which is going to be Ball State at Akron. So Ball State coming into this game feeling pretty good about themselves. They had won 3 in a row before getting knocked off last week. So they get Akron, a team that did get a win a few weeks back against Bowling Green, but Bowling Green is another team that's not that good. They've kind of been just in the they kind of are just a team that kind of gets in your way a little bit, but you can flick them out the way. But they did get a huge win earlier this year over Minnesota, but that won't help anything for Akron moving forward to a bowl game or something like that. So you got this game tonight. You got two teams that offenses, they're not high-end offenses, but they're teams but they can move the ball just a little bit. They're kind of the same when it comes to the passing game. They're not that far apart. And then when it comes to the rushing game, the Zips actually dominate in that category when it comes to this game because they're 131 over the 115. So we look at it, both these teams kind of have trouble scoring, but I think tonight this game is going to wind up being one of those games that figures itself out early. And I think that if you're Akron, you want to come out in this one, and whatever home crowd you have there, you want to do well against them after Halloween and all that good stuff. You want to do well for them. I mean, after Halloween and all that stuff. So it's a Tuesday night. I know it's pizza night probably over there at the stadium as well too. Get a free slice of pizza, come on into the game, all that good stuff. But all in all, though, this will be one of those games where Ball State will be an over bet because a lot of people feel like they can win this one by 3 touchdowns. They can, but I don't think they do. So I think that the smart play here is the plus 20.5 on Akron. And let's see how it shakes out. Let's see how it goes. But that's how I'm feeling in this spot. And I think that's exactly where it's going to shake out at. We got plus 20.5 here. Ball State is really, really good, but they're not a team that warrants a 20.5 point spread. It doesn't matter how bad of a team that they're going against in their conference, especially when they're the road team as well, too. Don't get tricked by big numbers because you see the stats and think that this team is not going to show up. They do have a little bit of pride now. You know that, right? So, hey, it is what it is, and that's what we're going to do here with Ball State and Akron. Now we move on to a Battle of Ohio. We got Miami of Ohio going against the boys from Athens, Ohio University. And Ohio is coming in here as a home dog as well, too, plus 240, plus 7.5 on the spread, over under of 52 in the spot as well, too. Both these teams play very good defense in games. They don't give up a lot of points from what I saw. And from what I saw in the records and things like that, in their last 5, the biggest point total that the Bobcats gave up was actually 35 against Northwestern. Northwestern is a Big Ten team. Now, they did give up 34 points last week, but they only lost that game by 7 as well. And so pretty much they're not letting teams score 40 on them. And from what I'm seeing with Miami of Ohio in their last 5 games, their highest output for a game was 34 points against Akron. So they've had a bit of struggles in the last few weeks as well, too. So that tells me that Ohio is not really good record-wise this year, but they aren't going to just lay down for Miami of Ohio. This is a possible upset as well, too, at the +7.5. Yes, I know it's a team with 1 win, but this is you have to understand this conference is not that far apart, and Ohio is supposed to be a little bit better than what they are right now. So don't be surprised if they pull off a monster upset in this spot. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the under because I feel like that's going to be the play here. Both these teams are going to kind of try to run the ball because both of them, that's where they do well at. Now, Miami of Ohio, it does have the better passing team, but I think that they're going to really be at each other's throat in this spot. Only thing is that Ohio can get a little bit besides themselves, and hopefully they don't do that and they don't get scored on fairly early. But the reason why I feel like this can happen is because when you look at both team averages, it's well under 52 points in total. You have a Miami of Ohio team barely getting 24 a game, and then you have Ohio getting 21.1 a game. You have to understand in college, it's like 20 points is like the equivalent of getting 14, 15 points in the NFL. So, because you got so much time and so many plays to run and so many broken plays as well, too. If you have a offense like that, you're struggling. But it's all good. I think that the under is the best play here, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move forward to what I like to feel could be the game of the night. This is going to be Eastern Michigan and Toledo. You have Eastern Michigan coming into this game 5-3. You got Toledo coming in here 4-4. Toledo hasn't really looked that good since the UCLA, since the Notre Dame game. Yeah, because when they played Notre Dame, that was the second game of the season. Then they came back the next week and lost again at home. Then won 2 in a row, then lost 2 in a row. So it's been a tell of some 2 different cycles with this team. You know, they start off the year, they win their first 3 out of 5. Now they dropped their last 2 out of 3, but they got a monster win last week against a very good Western Michigan team, beating that team by 19 points last week, and pretty much putting themselves in the picture in the group for who's going to possibly represent the West Division in the championship game. So that was huge for a team that's 2-2 in conference right now, and they really needed that win because Western Michigan was looking really good coming into the game, but they took care of their business and they went ahead and got a big win there. Now you got Eastern Michigan coming in here 5-3. You can look at their record and say to yourself, well, they did play some teams that were outside of the conference, and there were teams that they were supposed to beat, like St. Francis, PA, UMass, and Texas State. But all in all, though, they're 2-2 against the conference. They got a good win against Miami of Ohio, beating them by 1 point, and then they got the good blowout win last week against Bowling Green. Now, they did lose 2 very close games to Northern Illinois and Ball State, and the score was no less than the scores combined for that game was 14 points. So they lost each game by a touchdown. So pretty much they come into this one with a big number on them, but that number right there is, I think, smoke and mirrors. I think they're looking at Toledo and how they perform on, Tuesday and Wednesday nights and stuff like that. And they're using that as their way to say that this team can be a 8-point favorite, but I can't trust a team that's lost their last 2 out of 3 as an 8-point favorite. But it's tough for me to trust a team that's coming off of a good win against a mediocre team. So what I do here is I'm going to go ahead and take the over 54. I feel like there will be some scoring in this game tonight. You get an Eastern Michigan team that averages 32.8, almost 33 points a game. And then you have a Toledo team that averages 28.5, almost 29 points a game. I think that works out. Now, Toledo does play much better defense than Eastern Michigan, but I think all in all, this is going to be a good back and forth game because they're not that far apart when it comes to how these offensives offenses work. And you have the passing game going to Eastern Michigan, the running game going to Toledo. This should wind up being a really, really good game tonight. I like what I see, and I think the over 54 is a very, very good bet here as well, too. So there it is with the Eastern Michigan going against Toledo tonight. And we'll see how this one goes. And it's going to be a tussle at the Glass Bowl. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to go ahead and talk about the state of the Lakers. And also, we're going to go ahead and get into the NBA Tuesday night as well, too. And then we'll have Talkin Tickets for you as well, covering baseball, football, and basketball tonight. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great today. It's Tuesday. I'm in a good mood and everything like that, man. And as you guys can see, I'm still repping LA, them Dodgers. So, you know, that never goes away. So pretty much let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. And the Lakers have a game tonight. Did pretty good on Sunday night, but now they got a back-to-back that's at home against the same team, Houston, and that's a dangerous, dangerous spot to be in because Houston was actually playing really good basketball the last about, probably the last about 16 minutes of the game in the second half, and they just really figured out ways to keep coming. And they played much, much better in the second half. You guys have to understand the Lakers scored 54 points in the first half. They scored 41 in the second half. The Rockets scored 35 in the first half. They wound up scoring 50. So I know it feels like it doesn't make that much of a difference, but they dipped into that halftime lead by 9 points. So this builds confidence coming into the next game. So that's something that we do need to look at. And when you look at the Lakers coming into this game, they are fifth when it comes to points per game at 113. They are second in field goal percentage coming into this game. But this is the alarming stat that's going to keep teams in games all the time against the Lakers. They're 25th in free throw percentage at 71.3. They have to fix that. They desperately need to fix that like right away, because that's what keeps games at 20 and 30 points instead of you having games where you were up 26 points at the half and you wind up losing by 7. You know, you just can't afford those type of things. The 3-point percentage is pretty good right now, 37.6. That's good for 6th in the NBA. 86 3-pointers made. That's good for 12th in the league right now. And another stat that's killing me, because these guys are supposed to be high-end rebounders, and they're not doing it right now. That being DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard. The Lakers are 25th in rebounds. That right there is another stat that's going to keep the Lakers is a non-top seed if they don't fix that immediately. The Lakers got way too many physical players to not be in the top 10 when it comes to rebounds. The way you become an NBA champion is you need to be in the top 10 in the grimy categories, I like to call it: blocks, steals, rebounds, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? And they're not. The Lakers have to get that together right there. They're 9th in assists. They're 24th in turnovers. That can get cleaned up as we go. Assist to turnover ratio 19th. That has to pick up as well too. But one thing that stands out for the Lakers is they're 3rd in block shots. So that means that they're tearing that ball up. But all in all, when you look at how the season's going, a lot of people are riding AD's case, but he's averaging 25-11 nightly. So that's pretty damn good. And then you got LeBron getting his 23.8. He kind of slowed down on the points. He had 30 points the first 2 games, and he's kind of just been facilitating and just making sure his guys get the ball. But he has some really good stats as well, too. On Westbrook, eight rebounds, 8 assists tonight with 8 to go with 18 points. That's pretty good, but we're going to need more, and we're going to need him to cut down on the turnovers. He leads the team with 5.1 a game. LeBron right behind him with 4.2. That's a 9.3 turnovers combined for those 2 nightly. That has to be cleaned up and cleaned up immediately. Then you have Carmelo Anthony, who's probably the brightest spot on the Lakers. He's shooting his free throws fairly well, just up under 20%. And then you also have him averaging 16.7 off the bench. He's shooting 50% from the field, and he's shooting 52% from the three-point line. So that is something that is keeping the Lakers keeping the Lakers, back, but it's okay. They're 4-3. They're only 7 games in. Now we're in November. I feel like the first portion of extended preseason is over. Now it gets a little bit tougher and a little bit more, I want to say a little bit more looked at, you know what I mean? A little bit more attention. Okay, so pretty much that one right there, that right there should be something that we should all take into fruition with this game tonight. And I think that the Lakers are in a good spot tonight to go ahead and get themselves a fun win here, but they're gonna really, really, really have to step it up in this spot tonight. And they can't be BSing. That's all I can say is that they have to be on their A game, because they can easily lose this game tonight, because you can't trust this Laker team right now. After the 4 top players that you have there, you really can't trust those other guys to help you out. Now, Malik Monk has been making some strides lately, shooting very well from the three-point line. Bradley's playing great defense as well, but he's not playing great offense. And Bazemore, I just don't think he fits, to be honest with you. The guy blew a wide open layup the other night. I know that happens, but it's just like it seems like he's always making mistakes or something. I think maybe being in the starting lineup might be a little bit much for him. Maybe he might be better on the bench, or he might be better as an asset being traded to another team. Now, I don't like to be that Laker fan who tries to jump on players and say, we need this player, we need that player. But I honestly do think as the season keeps going on, and as the Rockets keep getting worse by the month, I think that the Lakers need to take a real long look at possibly bringing in Eric Gordon as a shooter and a starter for this team, because that guy right there can help Rusty out a lot when it comes to who's going to be the shooter and everything like that as we move forward, and I think that Eric Gordon deserves better than playing with the team that's retooling itself. You want to see Eric Gordon with the winner, and he's proven to be a very good player with a winner as well too. So the Lakers need to maybe explore that situation. They possibly got some assets to go ahead and pick him up, but it would be a long shot as well too. So we'll see how one goes, but that's just a name to throw out there, and I think that could help as well too. And here goes another name. Since the Lakers keep wanting to bring back all these players that used to play for the Lakers, why don't you bring back Lou Williams? I think Lou Williams might be a guy that you could get back. I know that he seems to have value with the Hawks and everything like that. But at the same time, too, though, he's an older player, and the season might not be the same as it's been years before. And he may want to come back to LA and come play with LeBron and coach, try to go ahead and actually chase a championship, because regardless of how good the Hawks are right now, they are still years away from even thinking about contending for a ring. Yes, they played in the conference championship last year, but that was kind of a fluke situation in a sense as well, too. You know, their best player got hurt. There was nobody else that could really step it up for them, but they were still going to get beaten that series regardless, though, in my opinion. I think that the Bucks were well overdue with getting themselves to the NBA Finals after being the first seed for 2 years in a row. So there it is. That's the state of the Lakers for today. I'll be back tomorrow with it, talking about it with Mike and the aftermath of what happens in the Houston game tonight as well, too. So we'll see how it goes, but the game will start tonight at 7:30 live from Staples Center. And you guys make sure you got your popcorn ready for that one. It's going to be a good one. It should be a really, really good game. And yeah, make sure you try to hit Yard House or Shaquille's before the game as well, too. That's over in the little center where Staples Center is located at. So we move on, and let's go ahead and jump into our NBA Tuesday night. The NBA Tuesday night, and it's like that, and it's the way it is. All right, so NBA Tuesday night kicks off with we just talked about them, the Bucks and the Pistons. The Bucks come into this game losers of their last 3 in a row. The Pistons lost their 5 out of 6 to start the season. So pretty much you got two teams that are struggling right now as they come into this game, but that means absolutely nothing at this point of the season. But I think that Detroit is slowly beginning to start their season the way they want to, because now they have their rookie back in Cade Cunningham, who was hurt the first few games of the year, but now he's back to go ahead and try to shine for this Detroit team that's been down and out for some time now. Now, Detroit's coming in here as the worst scoring team in the league. They only are getting about 96 points per game, and that's, that's kind of like how it was last year for them. Bucks aren't much better. They are averaging about 12 more points a game, but they're 16th right now in the league in this shoot field goal percentage. They're 29th in that category as well, too. 20th in free throw percentage, and then 30th in three-point percentage, and 29th in three-pointers made. So they're not winning in that category. 41.7 rebounds a game. Definitely missing Andre Drummond right now. 25th in assists, 21st in turnovers. Man, when you look at the stats on the Pistons, it's just like another hapless season is among us, right? But I think it's too early to call that, because the Pistons were scrapers, all types of things last year. Even though they didn't win many games, they still came to play, and they still got players there. They got Sadiq Bey, who was an awesome rookie last year. You still got Jeremy Grant as well, too. And then you got the vet Kelly Olynyk helping out, being a very good vet, being a glue guy. But, when you look at Milwaukee, you got Giannis, who's killing it right now, but the rest of the team is kind of gimpy right now. Bobby Portis is out with the injury. He should be back in a few weeks, but the Bucks are kind of just getting into their groove. They're kind of having a championship hangover a little bit. That's kind of what happens sometimes when you're fresh off of a championship for the first time in 40 some odd years. And you got a guy who's the 2-time MVP and who's seen as the next up as the biggest, name in the league. But, this is a tough NBA right now. We got a lot of parity going on in this league as well, too. There's a lot of really good players on these teams. And everybody has that solidified star, except for the Spurs, in my opinion, when it comes to the NBA. But all in all, this should be a really good game tonight. I'm going to take this one in a different sense. I think that the Pistons actually could wind up getting a nice upset in this game, but I think that the safer bet here for us, it would probably be to look at the over, because it's not a big number tonight. They're kind of baiting on the fact that Detroit doesn't score a lot of points, but I think with the rookie back and a bit more confidence being at home and everything like that. You'll have your crowd there, even if it's not a lot of people. You'll still kind of play a little bit. So I think that this will wind up going over 211 tonight, and that's where I'm going with this one. We move on to our next game, which is going to be the Heat at the Mavs. The Heat at the Mavs is going to be a real. It's going to be a good game between East and West tonight. You have yourself a team in the Heat that is playing some inspired ball right now. They do have a brand new point guard in Kyle Lowry, and then you got Jimmy playing really good basketball. Because when Jimmy gets another really good player to play with, he's he gets really locked in, tuned in, and things get really, really good for whatever team he's playing for. And I think that the Heat, coming off of a big win over the Grizzlies on the road the other night, actually beaten by 26 as a dog as well, too, is showing a lot of confidence. And then they got a good win over LaMelo's gang, the Hornets, the other night, beating them by 15. So they are doing very well. Last four wins in a row, all by double digits after 11-point loss to the Pacers. And, they're coming in here with the right feel. You got the Mavericks who got blew away the other night, losing by 31, but they came back around and won by 6, beating Sacramento at home. Now, it looks like they are playing the middle and bad teams really well, but they're having an issue with the teams that are a bit better. You know what I mean? I think that the Heat are in that top 5, top 3 conversation when it comes to Eastern Conference teams. And so this will be a tough game on the Mavericks tonight, but I still think what we can do here, what you can see here, is that the Mavericks make this a big time home win for themselves tonight, get a good close win, and have their superstar Luka do some big things tonight. But I'm looking at it right now. It's going to be tough. You got KP out at this moment, and he got the back tightness and everything like that. Then you got Luka, who's playing absolutely out of his mind, but he's a little gimpy coming into the game tonight as well, too. So, we're taking some shots, we're taking some chances, but I like where the home team's going in this spot. I think that, Miami will be an oversell, overbet. And when I feel like you're going to be an oversell, overbet, I like to go the other way, and that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take the dog. I'm going to take the dog money here and take the Mavs here in this spot. And that's going to wind up actually being our short dog of the day. So, it's like a Chihuahua Pomeranian type situation, not, the big boys, the Rottweilers and, German Shepherds of the world that we really be chasing. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. So we move to our next game. And our next game is going to be the Kings at the Jazz. The Kings at the Jazz. It's going to be a fun one tonight. And you have a Kings team coming in here plus 310, Jazz minus 400 tonight. 9.5 point spread to the home team as well. You got a Jazz team that's actually getting a lot of respect this year for most of the NBA after what they did last year, even though they did lose in the second round. And they really didn't add anything over the summer either. But I would have thought somebody like Utah would have been able to add a bigger name over the summer. But, it's Utah. So you're going to get who you're going to get. You know what I mean? But as long as you got some good coaching going on over there, and, those deafening fans still show up to games, the Jazz will always be a team that's going to kind of loom a danger in the NBA. Now, you got the Kings losing their last 3 out of 5. They had just won 2 in a row and then lost to Dallas last time out, and got a good win over Phoenix as well too in that 2-win stretch. Now you got the Jazz coming in here, winners of their last 4 out of 5, and only lost 1 game this season. That was to Chicago, and then came back the next night and beat the defending champs, the Bucks, by 12 points. So this goes to show you that this team is kind of crossed the road on just being a top 5, top 6 team in the Western Conference. Now they're considered one of the top 3 teams in the conference, and it's sustained. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was a fluke from last year or anything like that. Donovan Mitchell plays like another Dwayne Wade in a sense, but he needs a little bit more team there. Rudy Gobert is a good player, but he needs more offensively than a guy, because it's great what Gobert does. And me as a person that loves the center position, Gobert does all the right things for you when you want to have a defensive center. But when you want to have a all-around center, he has to do it from both ends, and he has to be better than somebody who's 5 feet and in as well, too. So when you look at him, he's more of a specialist. You know what I mean? So the Jazz can be really good this year, but they're going to possibly have to make a monster move to really consider themselves a team that can really chase a championship at this point, in my opinion. But to the game, you have the Kings, I would say, should be in this game tonight, but I think that the Jazz are just going to overwhelm them tonight, and I think winning by double digits should not be that tough of a task for a team that's playing as well as the Jazz right now. The Kings are a little bit too back and forth for me, a little bit too wishy-washy. So I think that the 9 is not that bad of a play, even though I don't like putting down the 9. But as they always say, great teams cover, good teams win. So let's hope that Utah wants to be great tonight. All right. So there it is with that. And we move forward with our next game, and this is going to be the one of the later games of the night as well too. Is going to be in Phoenix with the Pelicans going at the Suns. Now we do have a bit of an update right now. It looks like there's a very good chance that Brandon Ingram will sit out tonight with a hurt hip. So you have a Suns team that's going to boost their confidence a lot. That's why you have a plus 11.5-point spread tonight as well too for Phoenix to cover. But I think that is dangerous, to be honest with you. I think that what happens is that you got a Pelicans team that has been started off the season pretty bad. And I think that they got some pride to them as well, too. It's going to be tough. Lonzo Ball anymore. Zion's out for I don't know how long. And as I just said, Ingram's about to sit out tonight as well, too. But they got some guys that might want to get some attention tonight who play, really good basketball, but they don't get as many opportunities as they should. And I think tonight, with opportunity, you have yourself a game where the Suns are going to overlook their competition. And this is where you sneak up and you bite them in the butt and you get yourself a nice cover tonight. And I think the plus 11.5 is too big of a number for the Suns to cover at this point because they're another team that's not the same team from last year. They're kind of just going through the motions to start the year off. And everybody kind of knows to come at them a little bit differently than they did last year. When you're so bad for so long, sometimes teams respect you way too much when you start winning games. But then once you start doing the extras, that's when everybody wakes up. You know what I mean? So I think that this should be a good game tonight for the Pelicans, and I think they wind up getting the cover tonight. I know nobody believes in that, but thing is, from what I said before, you don't want to be a part of games that have monster oversells, and I don't want to be at a big oversell for this situation, so that's why I'm going against the grain and taking the Pelicans tonight. And I only need them to cover. I don't need them to win. I just need them to cover, and that's what I'm chasing tonight because I didn't think we could do anything with the over-under tonight. And I definitely wanted to trust the Suns, but right now I can't because I've been seeing how the Suns been going about things, and they're not playing like the team we saw last season. So there it is. There it is. Now it's time to go and get into your favorite topic, and that's talking tickets. And let's go ahead and get it started. First, in talking tickets, let's go ahead and talk about the Mac at Night Pick 3. The Mac at Night Pick 3 reminds me of that good old McDonald's advertisement that used to have the Mr. Moon, the Moon Man on there, and he would be. And I remember one time I got a pretty awesome Jeep when they were trying to reenact him being in the army and stuff like that. So that was pretty dope. And I had one of those drop tops of his as well too. But the Mac at Night commercials used to be so dope. All right, so plus 20 on Akron tonight. We got the under 52.5 with Miami of Ohio in Ohio. And then we got the over 54 with Eastern Michigan and Toledo tonight. This is going to yield us a basic 6-1 ticket that you usually get for pick 3, because we're not doing anything crazy with the money line or anything like that tonight. We're just kind of doing a basic pick 3 tonight. It's a 6-1 ticket. So that means that you can put, this isn't a small risk, big reward type of situation, even though some do think it is. I would say this, you can put yourself a 50 to 100 spot on this one, so you can try to make some good money on it, or you can just go ahead and try to make you some, as my man like Jeff likes to say, some beer and pizza money tonight, and see what you can do with that. But that's going to be a 6-1 ticket, and let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. I like what I see here. Mac at night, and once again, plus 20 on Akron, under 52.5 in the Miami Ohio game. And then we have over 54 in the Eastern Michigan Toledo game. And there it is. All right, we move on to our NBA Super High Five, which is going to be 28-1 tonight. I'm taking the over 211 with the Bucks and the Pistons game. I'm also taking the Mavs with the plus 120 tonight. Going to throw in the Jazz here with the -9. And then also going to do the Pelicans tonight, plus 11.5. And then we end off with the Lakers and Rockets going over 217 tonight. Yes, they went well under the other night, but usually when you get the second game, this game does provide a lot of scoring. So I'm taking the over 217, Rockets and Lakers, and there it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish off with the World Series and win my World Series bets tonight. Taking the Astros to win this game straight up, -120. Then I'm taking the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings as well, too. I expect some good pitching to go on in the first half of the game, and then no score first inning. I know I'm not stretching it out, doing anything crazy. We're coming fresh off of a sweep Sunday night as well, too. So let's just go ahead and be basic tonight. Hopefully we can go ahead and get these home. The Astros extend the series. Then I have a whole bunch of fun plays for you guys tomorrow for the Game 7 as well, too. And hopefully we get to that Game 7, so then I can go ahead and talk to one of our favorite correspondents about it, Mike. So pretty much there it is for today's show. I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in as well. And I got you guys covered on the World Series today, the NBA, and also Mac at night, college football. So you guys, let's go ahead and cash some tickets. And as I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.